it can be really easy at the moment, I think, in terms of what's going on in the world politically, um, insofar as the dearth and lack of empathy that is on display from the people in power. And it's quite a suffocating time mentally, I think. From my personal experience, anyway, it's quite a suffocating time to be a part of humanity. But I really think that a great way to combat that, or to not be suffocated by all of that, is to continue with the business of experiencing the world through movement and being present. And it's something that I think being present is something that we struggle with now more than ever, with all of this technology, all of the scrolling, all of the endless content that is being manufactured for us, to feed algorithms, to raise money through ad revenue, and the need to be constantly connected and online through email, messages, social media. It can be quite suffocating. And for me, I find that moving regularly, moving my body, using what I've been given as a vehicle to experience life and the universe, is a really good way to step outside of that temporarily and to reconnect with being present, being part of the universe. And I was going to go on a run today, which is the usual way that I do that. And I usually run into Manchester city centre, which is nearby where I live. It's about a 10-kilometre run. But today I felt like I really wanted to connect with nature a little bit more. So, and to do so in a way that was slower than going on a run per se. So I took myself on a little walk up to the woods near the River Irwell, just north of Salford area, which is where I'm living at the moment. And it's something that I've always done whenever I felt that I needed to slow down and disconnect from modern society and the suffocation of everything that I just mentioned. I've done it all my life. Regularly try to get as close to nature as I can, going into local woods and walking near rivers, and just making the conscious effort to exist inside of that. And that's what I did today. So, but what was surprising is, and it's surprising every time, even though I've done it thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times, probably, maybe. As soon as I am stepping fully into the more wild areas, the proper woodland, it's always like this overwhelming feeling, or in fact, not overwhelming, but the release of an overwhelming feeling, if that makes sense, in terms of how everything, the calm comes back into focus. And it was always there. The calm is always there, but removing myself from all of the distraction and all of the noise and the suffocation of technology, politics, society, if only for a brief few hours, reminds me that the calm is always there and we're always part of it. And humans human beings have only been here for a very short fraction of that time in the universe, and we're just another expression of the universe, of awareness, of consciousness, the universe expressing itself through us. And it's really important to have that time in the open, in nature, without all of that distraction. The air, the ground, the whole thing is one big shared breath for me. And I think if you're anything like me and you struggle with some of those things in terms of the suffocation of modern society, the lack of empathy that is currently on display, and the anxiety that goes with that, just getting yourself into nature, into whatever you have nearby that you could get to really reset and just take the time to be present and aware without any distraction. That's a really helpful way to cope with that. And it really opens, taking away all those things for me as well, I think it really opens the mind in terms of giving it space for new ideas and creativity to come to the forefront of the mind, because all of the noise of the day-to-day and the darkness that is currently billowing around all of that, it allows fresh perspectives to come to the forefront. We're currently in a period of transition in nature. It's currently autumn, so the leaves have gone from green to gold. Some of them have fallen. There are winter berries on the branches. Mushrooms growing, and being wrapped in all of that sound and colour, you remember that the calm bit of you never went anywhere. It's part of a constantly changing and evolving cycle of life in the universe. And when I was out, I bumped into some strangers that I'd not met before, and it was this couple that I bumped into near to the river, and this fellow was telling me, he was saying, a little bit down the river from here, there's a small wall that I've built out of stones on a beach. Go and have a look. And I went and had a look, and it was a perfect spot to sort of just sit by the river there and really be present, just in nature, hearing the wind gently moving through the leaves, the sound of the river going past. So for anyone that's struggling right now with everything that's going on, I really recommend getting out into nature. You just, for chance encounters, you don't know who you're going to meet, and everyone, I don't know about wherever you are if you're watching this, but certainly around here in the north of England, in the woodlands, crossing paths with strangers, everyone's very friendly. And it's another way, again, without all that distraction of technology, social media, text messages, emails, television, advertising messages that appear everywhere. It's stripping away all that and finding common ground with people who are also out and about experiencing that. So that encounter was part of that for me, that the man who told me about the wall that he'd built. And it was a great spot as well. So when we spend so much time thinking that we're separate from the universe because of all these distractions and because of geopolitical things and chaos and lack of empathy, the absence of empathy that is on display, just walk into the woods or wherever the natural world is at the forefront in your local area, and I think you'll find just doing that regularly is great for mental health. It helps sleep, helps promote creativity in the mind, and it reminds us that everything is connected, or always has been, and you just notice it more in that environment. I think is the ultimate takeaway from this experience today of going out and walking. But I'm curious to know if you find similar when you go out into nature. If you find that it helps to clear the chaos and the anxiety around everything that's happening right now. We are in such crazy times, just in terms of so much stuff. So reconnect with nature. Let me know if you feel the same way or if you disagree. That's also interesting to know, interesting other perspectives. And how do you feel about it on a more spiritual, cosmic level? Because for me, it's a very interconnected thing with the universe, consciousness, awareness, being present, all part of the same thing. And I think for me as well, the feeling of everything feeling right with that and not right with so many of these man-made systems and greed that are sort of at the forefront right now in where we are as a civilization and as a species. And just finding respite from that in nature is a real sort of balm for that, I would say. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you found this interesting, let me know, and let me know if you'd also like more future reflections like this. That was out of tune. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.